Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories, where people conform to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and for hitting the like button. Today we have 3 great stories. If you enjoy them, please subscribe and hit the like button. And now let's begin, shall we? The first story is called The HOA Board That Does Nothing. I lived in a small 18-house neighborhood that had a deed-restricted HOA. We had a minimal common area along the main entry street that needed maintenance and some drainage infrastructure that needed to be maintained. Not much work had to be done at all. No one wanted to be on the board, so I ran for the board with the slogan, "I will do nothing more than is legally required to fulfill the legal requirements of the HOA." The slogan was enough to get 4 more neighbors to run with the same slogan. We had the typical committees, all with the same members and with the same idea. Leave everyone alone, fulfill our legal obligations and move on. I was walking down the street one day and was accosted by a neighbor who said, "You don't deserve to be president." I replied, "You are right, I don't deserve it." This really set her off, so she started yelling at me about all the things I should be doing. Planting a specific kind of flower, forcing her neighbors to do things unregulated by the HOA, etc. So I invited her to run for president. I told her that she could submit a petition calling for a special election, and I could guarantee that everyone on the board would sign it and probably vote for her to take on the job. This, of course, just infuriated her. So she started writing letters to the board, complaining about everything. We ignored the letters, which technically was a mistake. Our HOA documents required all letters to receive a response. She continued to send letters that had nothing to do with the HOA, so we crafted a malicious compliance response that read, "Thank you for your letter to the HOA board. After careful consideration, we have decided to ignore it." We then included instructions on how to call for a special election to have us kicked off the board, and promised her the support of all board members if she chose to circulate the required petition. She sold her house and moved. Our board continued with the same philosophy for the 12 years I lived there. Nothing more than legally required and leave everyone the hell alone. We would hold a homeowners meeting once a year, which was nothing more than a potluck dinner. We had to invite someone from the compliance company who worked for us to make sure we covered everything required for our annual meeting and reporting. And we would always have an agenda item under new business. Does everyone promise to be a reasonable adult? I've moved to a new 14-house neighborhood with an HOA. I haven't yet decided if I will run for the board. Why not dissolve the HOA? An HOA was required for a planned community, which was the type of community in which we lived. Planned communities are built under specific laws and regulations, and one of the requirements is that they have an HOA. In order to disband or form an HOA, you have to have unanimity of all property owners. Typically, the HOA is created by the builder, so when people buy the house in a planned community, they are buying into the HOA. It's a deed restriction. Assuming we could get everyone to agree to disband the HOA, we would still have the problem that the HOA, as a legal corporation, owned common areas, property owned equally by all homeowners, and we had common infrastructure, a drainage system. Someone would have had to have been able to take ownership of that property and the resulting liability, pretty much an impossibility. The drainage system only benefited the homeowners, and it made sense that it be owned by the community, thus the need for the HOA. The next story is called Job or Education. When I was going to college, I had taken up a part-time job working at Waffle House as a part-time prep cook, under the delusion and promise that they would work with my schedule. Everything was fine for the first half of the semester. I was finishing classes at 3 p.m, getting dressed for work and clocked into my job at 5 p.m. sharp, to work 5 to 9 p.m, 5 days a week. Then comes the finals, which in my college ran a different schedule than my actual classes for some reason. Don't ask me why, I don't work in administration, it was weird to me as well. My Monday and Tuesday's finals were okay, as they finished by 2:30 p.m. Wednesday's final finished at 4:30 p.m, and Thursday and Friday's finals started at 2 p.m. and finished at 5 p.m. Since college and my job were across town, and I was either walking, taking the bus, or riding a bike, I knew I wasn't making it on time to clock in my scheduled time for Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. So as I handed my final schedule to my manager, I had asked for later work times those 3 days, or let me work that weekend to make up for the time I would be missing. "You need to choose your work or your education," the manager replies. "You college kids give me nothing but trouble." "But sir, you said you would work with my college schedule, and this final schedule is important," I tried to say back. "No, I said I would work with your college schedule. As this final schedule doesn't exactly align with your college classes, I'm not obligated to work with it." "If you don't like that, you can just quit." "No problem," I replied, taking my apron, visor, name tag, and was about to take the shirt off when the manager squeaks out, "What are you doing?" "I'm quitting, effective immediately." "You won't comply with my finals, you're not obligated to." I used air quotes on that, so in order to assure a passing grade in my classes, I have to attend the finals. I took my shirt off and piled everything on his desk. I grabbed the other shirt that I had worn that day, put it back on, and walked out. I never worked another food job again. The last story is called Better Than Ever. I'm the AV supervisor for a large company that hosts events. Specifically, I look after quotes for the technical side of corporate events, giving clients access to projectors, microphones, speakers, etc. for the large corporate presentations, meetings, and whatnot. I also manage and brief the floor crew who actively run the events. We use a program to book our equipment, which, while powerful, is a bit laggy on the average computer and is also extremely expensive per year. About $2,000 per user per year, and there's about 30 of us in the company that are using it. Relative to how much our company makes per year, it's a pretty hefty cost. It's a good program when leveraged properly, but sometimes it can drive you mad with its weird way of doing things. One important feature of the program is that it tracks the booking of all equipment everywhere, including time for packing it into a room and packing it out of the room. This is useful because it prevents our team from overbooking equipment. If it's not available, the system won't let you book it. There's no way around that. If I'm short on equipment, I can book extra equipment from another rental company and on-charge that to the client when I know in advance that I need to do that. Anyway, cue big presentation from the booking company showing their latest version of the booking software. It's great, it's faster, it's better than ever. We have a busy week coming up and I am flat out floored with paperwork, pulling a 60-hour week. Our company is fantastic with overtime. We don't get overtime pay, but we do get time in lieu. Our bosses are totally cool about it, so if I work 1 hour overtime, I get 1 hour off the following week. Do a 60-hour week and you get 20 hours off later. Anyway, one of my floor crew comes to me. "Hey, this equipment isn't available. We've already got it out on another event." "What? It should be available." "No, it's definitely not. I just set it up for another event 2 hours ago, and that event is running for 3 days. Cue me running back to my desk and rechecking all my paperwork. Equipment lists going out for events are often over 100 lines long, hence why we don't do manual checks for overbookings. The system should do it. As it turns out, all our equipment was overbooked multiple times, in many cases overbooked on 3 events or more. I make multiple phone calls to rental companies and bring in rental equipment on short notice. That's expensive and I can't charge it to the client on such short notice. If you took our expected profits for that week, you could add a negative symbol onto the front and that'd be our new profit. I log a job with the company that makes our booking software and then proceed to double check all our upcoming events. I found a lot of overbooked equipment. These events are often independently created by multiple people at different times of the year. There's no way they'd themselves check if the equipment was available. It's just not feasible. Hence why we rely on the system that up until now worked. The booking software company is extremely dismissive, saying that it's a rare glitch and that they would look into it. Cue 1 month later and still no fix. I'm now spending significantly more time double checking all our events for overbooking. The booking software company still doesn't care about a smallish company like us. Frustrated, I ask my boss for a copy of our service agreement with the company. He's as annoyed with the situation as I am, so we go through it together. Turns out there's a clause in there saying that the booking company would provide compensation in the event of a total system failure. In the event that the system can't even be accessed. Well, we definitely call this a system failure of sorts. Its failure is costing us a lot of money. So we sent a bill of our rentals that cover overbookings to the booking software company. That gets their attention quickly when the total bill amounts to more than triple what they make of us each year. "Hey, what's with these bills? Here's the job reference you still haven't responded to after 2 months now, and here's the link between each rental and each event that's overbooked." There's no way the system is letting you overbook equipment, and you can't send the bills to us for every event that's overbooked. So I share my screen with them. Alright, let's test it. The booking software company shares their screen as well, logging into our version of the booking system. They proceed to book some equipment that should 100% not be available. True to their word, the system doesn't let them do it. I then book the exact same equipment for the exact same event, but from my computer. With my boss as a witness, the system lets me do it without any alarm. This surprises them, and they start talking about potential fixes. They also say they are willing to pay for the rentals up until now. 2 months later, we are still billing them for every rented equipment. They are still paying without questioning, and we still don't have a fix. I've changed the procedures to check for overbooked equipment though, so we aren't running around like madmen trying to fix things last minute anymore. And now, it's your time to shine. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories? I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.